Everyone starts off bad at something, no matter how talented you are. Now, realizing that something can be achieved with your particular talent or skill is called potential. I'm going to take you guys onto a little story when I first started playing football. Athletic freak on the football field. I can move and contort my body and do certain things most players just couldn't. Coaches saw that and decided, hey, this guy doesn't really know how to play football that much. Let's put him at defensive end. Because against bigger offensive linemen, he's too fast. And against faster offensive linemen, he's just really strong. It was a matchup nightmare against most offensive linemen until you get to the guys that actually are talented and know what they're doing. This forced me to go right back to the strategy room. I had to figure out, hey, I have to be a better football player. And then that's when coaches saw the true potential in me. Someone that is a student of the game, wants to learn and gets better, they decided to switch me to running back, and pretty much everything else is history. Now, this has nothing to do with Yu-Gi-Oh!, but I thought I should point out that every single one of you guys has potential to do something. You guys have talent. You just have to not only realize it, you have to keep pushing forward. And in this video, we're going to be doing the exact same thing. There are some bad decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! And there are some decks that are on the cusp of being very competitive. Regardless, I feel that some of these strategies have insane amounts of potential. And not only will I be talking about the potential that they have, we'll also be talking about some changes that could be made or some cards that can be introduced to the strategy to make it too strong. I'm TheCaliEffect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then go and destroy that subscribe button. But more importantly, go ahead and that notification bell because, well, we just too strong. Also want to give a special thanks to every single one of my Patreons. Without you guys, videos like this would not be possible. And also a mad shout out to our newest Patreons, Jesse Perez and Dakota Carver. Welcome to the clan. Make sure you add yourself to that Discord as well as message me so I can get you to the top dog so you can take advantage of all your rewards. Without further ado, I present to you some bad decks with a ton of potential. We're gonna start right on off with our cover card. Ritual Beast is actually one of the better rogue decks inside of this format. You have cards like Ritual Beast Steeds, which allows you to destroy multiple monsters on the field. Depending on the Ritual Beast monsters that you control, it doesn't target and it does it on the resolution of this card's effect. You also have a Monster Reborn-like card in Ritual Beast Ambush, which can spell summon Ritual Beast monsters from your graveyard or your banish zone to your side of the field. That works really well with cards like Trap Trick, seeing that both of them are normal trap cards. You can get easy access to both of them, and on top of that, your Ritual Beast fusion monster, Kanahawk, which allows you to search any Ritual Beast card from your deck to your hand. The Ritual Beast Link Monster Cumin Focus gives you an additional normal summon, and this deck is known to be able to perform multiple normal summons like Black Wings in one turn. You can take full advantage of that because your Ritual Beast monsters do have the drawback that they can only be special summoned once, and then normal summon as many Ritual Beast monsters to your side of the field, which will pop off with your ulti Kanahawk plays, allowing you to keep on cycling those monsters back to your side of the field. The deck is really good, but it has quite a few drawbacks, one of them being ulti Kanahawk to 1. Now, this was a hit that happened a long time ago, almost out of nowhere. You could say that tournaments were really bothered by being able to go through your deck and search anything you want and taking a pretty good amount of time. Well, nowadays in 2019 Yu-Gi-Oh!, that's pretty much how Yu-Gi-Oh! Plays. I don't think that the pace of Ritual Beasts would be any different than any top viable deck. Why is this card still at 1? The next thing is just addressing that you need your Ritual Beast Elder Kanahawk to pop off with most of your plays. Having a Searcher card to be able to get you your Ritual Beast Elder Kanahawk and possibly either another Link or Fusion monster could put this deck over the top. Nonetheless, I think that its macro-like capabilities, being able to play cards like Macro Cosmos to banish all your opponent's cards, could be really detrimental to whatever strategies at the top decks. Against Salomon Great, Orcust, and Danger Chaos Thunder Dragon Crusadia, they all want their cards to be in the graveyard, and this deck can play nice with cards that banish cards on the field or hand. Staying in 2015, I have another deck that could be considered rogue in this format. I think it can steal some matches. Let's talk about it. Satellar Knight is really good. Your Satellar Knight, Deneb upon its summon, can add you a Tellar Knight monster from your deck to your hand. More often than not, you're going to be searching your Satellar Knight Altair, which allows you to spell summon a Tellar Knight monster from your graveyard to your side of the field. If you guys aren't catching on, your Deneb searches your Altair spell summons your Deneb, and you keep on doing that until you run out of Altairs. You also have Satellar Knight Vega, which provides another monster and can spell summon Tellar Knight monsters from your hand to your side of the field. It kind of completes a trifecta if you look at it, but there are two other Tellar Knight monsters I want to talk about. One of them being Ukulele. I don't know how to say this card's name. Post down below in the comment section how do you properly say this card's name. I've tried so many times, but it allows you to send a Tellar Knight monster from your deck to your graveyard. So just in case if you don't get your Deneb, you can send it to the graveyard and then follow up with your Altair to special summon it. But if worst case scenario, a card that Tellar Knight players did not play but could be really good in this format is the Tellar Knight Serious. And yes, I am serious. This card is a pot of avarice that allows you to shuffle in 5 Tellar Knight monsters to your deck to draw a card. These Tellar Knight monsters go really well with your Stellar Alpha Nova, sending a card or a Tellar Knight monster from your field to the graveyard to negate the activation of opponent's card, destroy it, and draw a card. You also, going into your X-Siege, you have Tellar Knight Trevere, which allows you upon its summon to bounce all cards on the field to the hand. You're going to be bouncing cards like Call of the Hunted, because Call of the Hunted can summon any of those Tellar Knight monsters that I just mentioned from your graveyard to your side of the field, trigger their effects, and then you can add it right back into your hand. Cards like Stellar Knight Constellar Diamond are huge against the meta. Upon this card summoned, it kind of stops all of your opponent's dark monsters from activating their effects. It can detach a material to negate the activation and destroy it. Now I know you guys are thinking, TheCaliEffect, what else does this deck need? Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, having a consistent searcher for your Stellar Knight cards would be amazing. Reinforcement of the army is at 1. Your Stellar Knight Skybridge is okay, but I think we could use another searcher. The next thing is having a Link monster, a Tellar Knight Link monster that may have an effect when bounced or impermeable to your Trevere bounces. The deck is all about that Trevere bounces because, again, that Trevere is the most important card. Not a lot of cards can stop it, it doesn't destroy, it just rids the threat. I think this deck has tons of potential, and I haven't even talked about all of the X-Seed monsters because they're really good. But just mentioning Stellar Knight Constellar Diamond, being able to negate multiple opponents' dark monsters, and then having access to X-Seed summoning this card on your main phase too is a really, really powerful strategy. We're gonna move away from what is considered the greatest era of Yu-Gi-Oh! And go to an interesting deck called Power Rangers. No, they're actually called Super Quantums. This deck is actually really fun. You have your Super Quant Blue Layer. Upon its summon, it allows you to search a Super Quant card from your deck to your hand, and then when it sits in the graveyard, you can shuffle in Super Quant cards into your deck. It combos really well with your Super Quant Green Layer, which allows you to spell summon a Super Quant monster to your side of the field upon its normal summon, and then when it's sent to the graveyard, you can discard a Super Quant card to draw a card. On top of that, you have your Super Quant Red Layer. Upon its summon, it's a Cyber Dragon. It's just a free summon. But when he is sent to the graveyard, you can spell summon Super Quant monsters from your graveyard to your side of the field. Your Super Quant White Layer, at the cost of getting rid of a card, you can spell summon this card to your side of the field. But you can also send a Super Quant monster from your deck to the graveyard to change this card's level and attribute. It can also search the most important Super Quantum monster of all, Alpha, which, if I remember correctly in Power Rangers, Alpha isn't a Super Quant, he's like the assistant. Where's Zordon? Anyways, this card allows you to tribute it to select 3 Super Quant cards. Your opponent randomly adds 1 to your hand, and all the other Super Quant monsters go to your graveyard. This triggers your Super Quant cards in case you guys are wondering. Every single one of these Super Quant cards, for the exception of Alpha, has a Megazord-like monster, which gives you a specific effect if it's under its appropriate monster. The deck also has a super huge Megazord, which prevents your opponent from searching and shuffles cards in their deck and does some other effects, and is really powerful. Now, players would probably wonder, TheCaliEffect, you're crazy. Why does this deck need support? Well, the problem with it is that it did get a pretty decent Link monster, allowing you to draw cards when an X-Seed Super Quant is placed under it, but the problem with that is getting resources to get the Link monster is almost impossible. Not only does it require 3 monsters, you have to actually invest other monsters, at least 2 or sometimes 1 or sometimes 3 cards, to place under it just to get its value. I strongly propose that the deck has some sort of draw engine that gets it advantage, or a really busted search card that allows you to add 2 super quant monsters from your deck to your hand or something like that, which can really help the deck. Another thing that I suggest is just making another super quant card. We all want super quant cards. I can't wait for the super quant Pink Ranger. Ultimately, I think that super quants are really fun to play. It's exciting. It reminds you of Power Rangers. It does a really good job at summoning those Megazords. And again, I think it can be competitive if we had the resources. If we go to the old days, you guys know that Dark Magician was one of the most feared cards in No, it really wasn't. I mean, even back in 2002, a 2-trip for Dark Magician, you could just 2-trip for Blue Eyes. Yeah. Fortunately for us, Dark Magician got some support in the Dark Illusion set. It received a Dark Magic Circle, which allowed you to look at the top 3 of your cards and then add a spell or trap card that specifically lists Dark Magicians in your hand. And then also, every time a Dark Magician monster is summoned, you can banish a card on your opponent's side of the field. You have Eternal Soul, which makes all of your Dark Magicians unaffected by card effects, and it can special summon Dark Magicians or add Dark Magician specific cards from your deck to your hand. You also have Magician's Rod, which can search any of your Dark Magician cards that specifically list Dark Magician. So one would probably figure out, like, CaliEffect, why is this like not being done? Well, not only will we have a deck profile for you guys soon, I will be able to address some of the problems of Dark Magician in this video. The very first problem is that Dark Magician normally takes a 4-card equation to accomplish. Having Dark Magical Circle, a way to summon Dark Magician, whether it's Eternal Soul or Magician's Navigation, your Dark Magician, and then potentially another card that'll probably set you up for something even further, is a lot of work. Your Dark Magician fusion monsters are also extremely hard to get into. Eye of Timaeus is a great card if it were searchable by your Dark Magician specific cards. Unfortunately, it says Dark Magician Monster or whatever it says, or whatever. It just can't be searched through your Magician's Rod. This leaves quite a bit of frustrating holes in the Dark Magician strategy. There are some really good, easy fixes to the strategy though. Having multiple spell cards that would allow you to gain your pieces from your deck to your hand, so I'm just basically asking for more Magician's Rod in a spell form, or cards that allow you to draw from your deck to your hand without the drawbacks of Allure of Darkness or Spellbook of Knowledge, would be pivotal because it allows you to get cards like Dark Magic Heritance's full effect, which makes the deck a lot less clunky. Also, a Link monster would not hurt the deck at all. Being able to have a Link 1 monster that requires a Spellcaster monster that treats itself as Dark Magician and then Confusion summon to your side of the field, that just might be the thing that makes Dark Magician a little competitive. Dark Magician has never been a tier 1 deck, as opposed to its counterpart Blue Eyes, which was a threat. I think that it's definitely time for the Dark Magician enthusiasts to have their time to shine, and this could potentially be it. Now, I know you guys were expecting me to say something about Shaddoll. I'm not. It's a great deck, but I think I'll save that possibly for the next video that we could be making. It'll all be decided by you. All you guys have to do is like this video up. Let's try to get this video to 500 likes to let me know as a content creator you guys want to see more. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of The CaliEffect. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a like, and if you really did, consider joining our Patreon. We have so many awesome rewards. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. I hope you guys having a great day, like I am.